without my walking stick. I'd go insane. I can't look my best, I feel undressed without my cane. Must have my walking stick, 'cause it may rain. When it pours, can't be outdoors without my cane.
Hello, I'm Avriel, and we're here with Brad Koller. So Brad, we're in your workshop.
Yes.
Why don't you tell everyone what you do?
I make walking sticks and magic wands, and I teach people how to do this. I run workshops at various locations, and we have a great time teaching people how to make their own.
That's great. That's great. You know, I thought for our viewers, what I'd like to do is give them a little history of the walking stick. Walking sticks were used for centuries. Centuries had them, and it helped people to transcend traveling uneven grounds, and it was a defensive weapon. Gradually, it became a sign of power and authority and social status. So, folks, if you want some social status, we got to see Brad. Around the 17th and 18th century, shepherds used the walking stick to watch over their herd and also to protect them. In Europe, it became part of their wardrobe. As far back as Egypt, the pharaohs used walking sticks, and they were topped with metal, and they were topped with lotuses, and I got to say this right, the scarab beetle, which represented long life. Now, it was so significant to the Egyptians that they were buried with their walking sticks because it was such a sign of power. And many of them were encrusted with gems at the time. Yeah. I told you it was a symbol of wealth and power. In the 1700s, the gentlemen used a walking stick. However, they needed a license to use a walking stick. It was a privilege to have one, and they had to follow certain rules. And the rules were they were not allowed to lean on the walking stick. They were not allowed to swing the walking stick. They were not allowed to put the walking stick under their arm. And they were not allowed to drag it. If they were caught, they would lose the privilege of their license and were never allowed to use a walking stick again. Right now, presently, bishops and priests use staffs in their ceremonies. Kings and queens use it as part of the ceremonial traditions. Marie Antoinette used a walking stick, and it was made of apple wood. Isn't that interesting?
Yes,
Applewood,
yes.
Yeah.
Produces a very pretty stick.
Does it? The designs were influenced by the church, and they became valuable hiding places for coins and jewels. I guess they would hollow them out, and that's how they would do it. The walking stick no longer suggests weakness or age, but as an accessory to enhance a wardrobe. In the Tower of London, Henry VIII's walking stick is there, and in it is a knife. It was used as a weapon. So, that's all I have to say about all of this, Brad. I'm going to pass the walking stick to you, and now you tell me how you got into making walking sticks. And when was your first one?
I started making walking sticks in, well, I don't know if you can see this, but can you?
1972.
1972, I made my first walking stick. I was hiking the Appalachian Trail. I was running up mountains back then, and everything I read said have a walking stick for balance, for protection, whatever.
Stabilization.
Stabilization.
Right.
And so I made this walking stick, and it has been a work in progress ever since. I add things, take away things. So over the years,
You mean
it's
the
changed.
embellishments that you
Embellishments,
added? Yeah.
yes.
So is that one of your favorite ones because it's your first one?
Oh, it is,
Yeah.
without a doubt. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's really what started you on making walking sticks. You did a lot of hiking.
Yes. Yes.
And where did you hike?
I have hiked. Some of the medallions on here tell of the various national parks: Grand Tetons, Acadia, Delaware Water Gap, and those are some of my favorite hikes. But I've hiked over 24, 25 national parks.
Wow.
And a lot of state parks. And over the years, I've also gotten into repairing trails, kind of a give back.
Really?
Really. In fact, if you can see the marks on this, these marks are every 6 inches. They go up to 30 inches. That is the depth at which we put posts into the ground up at the Delaware Water Gap. So instead of bringing a tape measure out with us, we plop this into the hole and say, okay, we got to add 6 more. We have to go 6 more inches deeper. So yes, I use this when I'm fixing trails.
Really giving back to the environment.
Right.
Yeah. Where do you get your woods? And then you're going to tell me your favorite wood to work with.
I get my wood. I have a friend up in the Poconos, and he gets me the sugar maples. It's a very hard wood, but very pretty to work with. I get red cedar from a friend in Jackson, New Jersey. So technically, it is considered part of the Pine Barrens.
Mm-hmm.
I get persimmon and some red cedar from a friend in Stockton, New Jersey. So I have friends with farms,
Right.
and I depend on them for walking sticks.
Mm-hmm. Now, of all those, I think you gave us 4 or 5, are more harder, and more durable to your craft?
The persimmon is the hardest, the densest, and the heaviest of all the woods that I work with. I work with white pine and such, and that is the very lightest.
Mm-hmm.
The red cedar is somewhere in between, and that being part of the Pine Barrens, indigenous to the pines, it's a very big. People have a lot of interest in that.
Well, I would imagine also the weight, just as if you showed me your work in progress right now, would depend, because I'm a little person and vertically challenged, that the weight would have a big difference for me in carrying it and
absolutely
protecting me.
There are 3 things that people look for in a walking stick, but the weight is not consistent. Some people want a heavy stick, some people want a very light stick, and I make both.
Really? Okay. So, in that light, how long does it take you to make a walking stick?
About 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Wow, that's not
give or
much,
take.
is it?
Yeah, and typically I use wood rasps. I don't use a knife. Partially for the safety, but partially because the wood rasp works so much better.
And what does that do?
It scrapes off all the bark. If I want to indent an area, then I can use the wood rasp to do that.
Mm-hmm. And this is the one that you're working on right now.
Yes, yes. This is a heavy one, but this is red cedar. You can see the really pretty colorations in that. And without a doubt, the red cedar is my favorite.
Because?
The fragrance.
You have them here, right?
Yes,
This is red cedar.
Those are tree cookies, and
Oh, how cute! And is that really what they're called, or you
Yes.
gave him that?
No,
name?
no, I
Yeah,
didn't
because
give him
Brad
that
gave
name.
me one to take home, and it's a tiny coaster. It just fits one of my wine glasses. So and they do smell.
That is not my term. That is a logging term. So the big burly guys with the big chainsaws.
Yes.
If you went up to them and said, "I want a tree cookie," they would know exactly what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
The history that I know of a walking stick is like with Robin Hood defending himself.
Yes,
You know, and then
quarterstaff.
Bat Masterson walking as a
Yeah.
gentleman with it.
Yes.
You know, that's what I remember.
Yes.
So it's fascinating that
Right.
because I am not a hiker, would not know about this. So now tell me about your workshops. I know you do workshops.
Absolutely, and they are quite fun. The workshops I hold at Caddis Island County Park, Wells Mills County Park, Cedar Bridge County Park, White's Bog Historic Village. I now have scheduled 2 or 3 workshops down at Tuckerton Seaport.
Now, how do people know about this? How does one find out about them?
Typically, the various locations will publicize,
Mhm.
and if you go on my Instagram account, I will publicize it a week before, give or take.
Mhm. And what is the Instagram?
And the Instagram address is MYO_walking sticks.
Make your own.
Make your own.
Make your own. Okay. Okay. Do you want to give us a demonstration?
Sure.
Should I move out of the way so Brad has a little room, right?
Sure.
I'll move out of the way.
Well, not too far. You're good.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
This is one of my epiphanies, my 3 a.m. epiphanies.
Oh,
I decided
that's the best.
I needed a bench as I was
Oh,
sitting.
come along.
And so I put it on and I shimmy it up and extend my legs, and now I have a bench.
So you can take that anywhere.
Exactly. Very light. I can
Yeah.
take it anywhere. As I am working on a walking stick, I don't generally I don't have a preconceived notion about what I want to do with the stick. It's the stick itself that gives me the idea. The coloration,
Inspiration and
the coloration, the indents, some of my walking sticks. This beast is on the heavy side, but if you can see, there is scarring up and down the stick. This is a sugar maple, and if you look at this as a tree, a deer had come up to this and rubbed their antlers up against this. So that scarring is called buck rub, and quite popular. It turns out it creates such a unique stick.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It really does.
Okay, so this is about halfway done. I've started to make an indent for that, and I like the coloration. So this is going to be a handhold, a knob, as we call it.
Mhm.
And what I've been doing is working this knob to get a little bit deeper.
While you're doing that, Brad, you did a birthday party.
Yes, I did. I was contacted by a woman who asked me if I could do a birthday party for a group of 10-year-olds, make your own magic wands, which I also make. And I said, sure, I can do that. Where are you located?
And you were here at the time.
Oh no, I was up in North Jersey. We were living in a town right next to the Delaware Water Gap, and she said, "Oh, Manhattan." So I had to. I envisioned carrying all my gear all the way into Manhattan.
To these skyscrapers.
Yeah, and so I turned to my publicist. And she said, Dad, just price it out of the ballpark. You don't have to worry about it. They'll refuse it. She didn't refuse it. So at that point, my daughter became my publicist.
Yes.
And she came with me on this adventure of ours. And we did a workshop on the Upper East Side of Manhattan to make magic wands.
Had you known that, you could have elevated the price.
Yeah, I could have even more so.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But-
That's interesting. Have you had any requests since?
Oh, thank goodness, no.
Oh, 10-year-olds are a little bit much.
Well, no, Manhattan is a little bit much.
Right, yeah, right. Let's get back to your walking.
Yes. Okay, so I'm curving this around. Now, once I've done with my coarse wood rasp, I'll take this and I'll use a fine wood rasp and I'll start working it around.
And that's shaping it and making it smooth.
It's smoothing it out. Yeah, it's taking some of the rough edges off. And when I work this, I give it a slight twist so I don't get a flat spot.
Right.
Flat spots are typical of machinery. If you're using a lathe or something, you might get a flat spot or a sander.
Right. Okay, so after you do that, do you varnish it or you stain it, or it's what?
After
the wood
this,
speaks
I'll
to you?
sandpaper the top of it to get it very smooth. Then I'll oil it with linseed oil. And oil that down, wait about 2 weeks, and then I'll put a lacquer coat over it. Some of my walking sticks have a sheen or this is nice and shiny. This is a lacquer coat over it. This is a persimmon. So a little on the harder side.
I really love that one.
Yeah. A nice palm, or a smaller person could actually hold it like this.
Mwah. Right, very nice.
Yes.
Why don't you take us through what you've made so far? Can you
Okay.
do that?
Yes.
You want me to hold that, or?
Sure.
Okay.
Some of these, let's see, this is a persimmon that we have here. Again, really, I like the persimmon because of the inner bark. It has a color and a just very, very pretty. This is sugar maple, and this is the one with the buck rub. I once had a tree that I took. It was a red cedar, and I knew that I had cut it from about 12 foot. So this section of tree was 12 foot up, and it had what looked to be buck rub. 12 foot up? No,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Pretty large, huh? What was it?
Deer are not that tall.
Right.
So I tried to figure out, and I came up with the fact that it must be a Jersey Devil rub.
I don't know what that is.
Jersey Devil? Oh my goodness.
I don't know. I'm a New Yorker.
Oh, okay. Jersey Devil is the legend of the pines.
Oh, see, look at that.
I'm sorry,
definitely don't belong.
The Jersey Devil was a creature that stalked the pines and killed livestock. Never hurt people, but made terrible noises throughout. No one believed me that it was a Jersey Devil because Jersey Devil is folklore.
Right.
It was actually wind rub. The tree was upright, another tree laid over on it,
Yes.
and it kept blowing back and forth and rubbing
and
against.
Rub it. Oh,
So
wow.
that was wind rub.
Uh-huh.
Weird.
Yes.
Okay, this is sugar maple. This is a pretty one.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Right.
That is
I
beautiful.
got into. People have seen walking sticks with wrapped leather or whatever
Yes.
around it. I find that's too abrasive. So instead, I carve a handle,
Wow.
and I always carve the handle, and that's quite comfortable,
Yeah.
quite smooth, quite comfortable.
That is a beautiful.
Yes, and this piece kind of spoke to me and said, I need to carve a twist in it.
Just beautiful.
Yeah.
Just beautiful. And then you just put leather.
Yes, a
And
leather
these-
A leather strapping is, the purpose of it is that if you hang it up, it's someplace to hang it.
Right.
But
it's very decorative, sure.
if you're in the woods and you're doing something and you need to stop and work on it, you don't have to put this aside.
Right. Oh, how clever. Mm-hmm.
The greatest detriment to a walking stick is not rocks or anything else. It's leaving it in the woods.
Forgetting it.
Forgetting
Right,
it, right.
forgetting
You don't
it.
want to do that.
Right.
Let's see, anything, oh, yes. Occasionally, if I have a very plain piece of wood, I'll do a wood burning on this.
Oh, that's
And
beautiful.
this happens to be a vine.
Yes. That's beautiful.
Right.
Look at that down there.
Curves, the root system, of course. I was a biology major in college.
Uh-huh.
And the red cedar up on top, you get that coloration.
Yes, just beautiful.
Yeah.
It really is.
And there was one other piece I wanted to show you,
Yeah, please.
and that is this. This, I wasn't sure what to do. It had a pronounced crack in it, but with red cedar, the crack is not a weakness.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, if you can get enough oil in it, which I did, it stops any cracking. But this had such beautiful color in the handhold.
It does. It
Yeah.
does.
So
Just great.
there's one other thing that I add to all my sticks.
Yes.
And that is this. There are two stripes at the bottom. If you're coming up a hill and you make it up the hill and somebody behind you is having trouble, you can reach out and offer the end of your stick, and this becomes a handle.
Oh, how
I call this a help up.
yes.
So you're helping
Wonderful.
another
Sure.
hiker.
Another hiker. That's really, really
So.
good. That is really nice. Okay, so let's talk about your daughter. Your daughter wanted to know, so Dad, you call your publicist, so you make these walking sticks, and what do you do with the discarded wood?
Right. The tops I typically cut off and throw away. And she said, Dad, what do you do with the tops? And I said, I throw them away. And she said, make magic wands. And so I've started making magic wands.
I'm going to move out of the way so you can really show this.
And those are, actually I can get the wood for this even easier because I can go in and cut branches.
Yes.
Red cedar, holly. Yes, this is holly. This is holly also. This, yeah, various.
I love your display that you made.
Yes, this display. I was hiking around the shore of a lake, and I came across this piece of driftwood, and I said, "Aha! I know what to do with that."
Yeah.
So. Yes, it's my display post for magic wands.
And do you have many requests for a magic wand?
Yes, we do.
And is that because of Harry Potter?
Partially because of Harry Potter. About 90% of my magic wand business is Harry Potter. And they want to know, wait a minute, what type of wood is this? And who had that type of wood? So I've learned a bit of wand lore. But about 10% of my trade is Wiccan. So people who actually use wands
Yes.
for positive, good spells.
Yes.
So.
Yes. So you have a need and a want. People want these.
Yes.
What makes it magic?
That's a very good question. And people ask that of me all the time. My magic wands will enhance and empower one's imagination.
Makes sense. Makes
Yes.
sense. It really. This one is absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
Do any of them have the significance of any symbols that you put on there?
Not necessarily. I believe this is a red cedar. Yeah. And the handhold, the stick itself will tell me what kind of handhold it wants on it.
Right. To make. I mean, this one is like perfect.
Yeah.
This one is like perfect. I can't get it out. There you go. But this one is like perfect.
Yeah.
And it's got a little star in the end.
Yeah.
And you wood burning to do that?
I do, yeah.
So you have like a, what is it, a pen, right?
Yeah,
Use a
yeah,
pen.
standard
to do
wood
it.
burning
Yeah, yeah.
kit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are on the wall here. These are all the
rough sticks.
the rough sticks that are going to be a walking stick.
Yes,
Huh?
yes, and because
And are they different? Are these different? What?
red cedar, and sugar maple up on top.
And here's your wands.
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
wannabes. Right. Very, very good. Really, very,
Thank you.
very interesting. It really is. So it
it's a
made a
fun
business for you.
Yes, yes.
Did it?
I started the business, my MYO LLC, making your own workshops, when I retired in 2016.
So did it help you to create these during COVID?
Oh yeah, yes,
Because it gave you
yes.
time to think about it and make it and.
Right, exactly. And the location out at White's Bog Historic Village, by the way, great place to visit. It was open air, so it was open during COVID.
So you were able to still continue your classes.
Right.
Oh, that was wonderful. That really was.
Yeah.
Well, do you have anything else to add to our program?
I think that is about it.
Well, I will tell you, Brad, I appreciate you spending the time with us. And thank you for watching. I'm Abrielle, KLVW. We'll see you next time.
Without my walking stick, I'd go insane. Can't look my best, I'd feel undressed without my cane. Must have my walking stick, 'cause it may rain. And when it pours, can't be outdoors without my cane. If I ever left my house without my walking stick, it would just be something I could never explain. The thing that makes me click on Lover's Lane would go for naught if I were caught without my cane.